Hello, Lindsay. How are you today?
Hello, Aubrey. I'm doing well. How are you? What's going on today?
Ooh, not much. I'm getting ready to head up to Idaho for a month.
Yeah.
It is too
Wow.
hot in Phoenix.
Yeah.
I can't stay. I got to get
That's
up
gonna
north
be
where it's
fantastic.
cooler.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great summer up there. I hope you have a good time.
Yes,
That's
I'm
awesome.
excited. But I have a question for you to start us out.
Okay.
Do you ever rush things or are you good at taking your time?
I usually am good at taking my time, but honestly, some things I have to rush. Like when we bought a house back in 2021, it was a really crazy hot housing market, and the favor was with the sellers, not the buyers. There was a
Hmm.
lot of competition. So we saw this house and we had to make a bid on it almost right away. It's not like you could go home and just think for a week. Maybe now you could in this housing market, but not
That's a
then.
really good point,
Yeah.
right? Something
Mhm.
like that, you don't have a choice. If you take your
Mhm.
time, someone else is going to snatch up the home that you're
Yeah.
looking at, right?
Mhm.
You have to rush sometimes.
Yeah, unfortunately, and so we don't know if we got a lemon or what we got, but we're here, so
Right? Hey, we make the most of it.
we make the most of it. It's our house, so it's okay. This is a great question today, right? Taking our time. How does this come into English? So, should I read the student question that this episode is inspired by?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Hello, lovers of All Ears English and the best hosts. I love so much this program. Thank you for coming up with such wonderful topics. Well, thank you to this listener
Yes,
for sending our topics in, right? I
right.
mean,
Absolutely. Thank you for your questions, everyone.
yeah, I have a question for you. To be honest, I've recently been curious about the meaning of take your time. If I translate it into my native language, it doesn't make sense. Could you make it clear for me? Thanks in advance. Kodabakash Hussaini from Afghanistan. And this question was asked on YouTube. Great place to ask a question, Aubrey.
Absolutely. And oh, this is such a great question. This happens to me all the time if I try to translate directly into
Hmm.
the languages I'm learning and things just won't make sense because
Oh,
it's interesting,
yes.
right? If you think about the actual meaning of the verb take, and then
Yes.
you're talking about time, like how do you take time? What does that mean? It's actually quite idiomatic. How do we take
Yes.
time? Where do we take it?
Yes, 100%. And before we get any further into the episode, Aubrey, I do want to shout out a couple of amazing listeners who left us a review wherever they listen to the show. So
Ooh, yes.
a special thank you to Wuju, Olivia Lemons, Crescent Reviewer, who wrote a 5-star review, a really long one
Mm.
entitled "Why Your Podcast Feels So Real." You'll have to read that one, Aubrey. It
Oh,
is very
yes.
special. Very
Amazing.
special review. And Joyboy5 from Ghana. So huge thank you to these reviewers. Guys, leave your review for the show. Aubrey, how do you feel when I send you these reviews that come in from students, from
I
listeners?
know Lindsay will send them in an email to Michelle and I sometimes, and
Hmm.
I love reading them.
Yeah,
It really is like a gift to see how much we're able to affect people's lives, how much joy we can bring. And
it's
yeah, I love
amazing.
it. I'm grateful for every time you guys leave a review, rate the podcast, and let us know that you enjoy what we're doing.
Yeah, we put in our whole heart into this show. It comes from a really deep place, deep inside of us, what we put into the show. And so we love to know that it's affecting you all and hitting you in the same way. So leave us a review wherever you're listening. And I'll be sure to send you those reviews from today, Aubrey, when we
Awesome.
get off the show so you can read them too. Love it. All
Love it.
right.
Nice.
Good.
So let's dive into this. This is a fantastic question. And we use this a lot in
Mhm.
English. Take my time, take one's time, right? So,
Yes.
first, I have a question for Lindsay. How
Okay.
many meanings do you think there are in English of the verb take? And I'm not
Well,
talking phrasal verbs, the
okay.
actual verb
Okay.
take. How many
Okay.
meanings?
If we take phrasal verbs out entirely, then
Hmm.
we just look at the verb take. I would guess 15 to 20.
You're pretty close, actually less. I'm
Less.
amazed you went
Okay.
high,
Okay.
but
I
you're
went high.
like,
I went
take,
high. I
there's
went
so
high.
many. There are
Yeah.
10,
Okay.
10 verbs, but then
Mhm.
also 4 nouns,
Oh my
several
gosh.
idioms, and many phrasal verbs. So
Yes.
this is so tricky that whenever you see the word take in an expression, it could mean any number of things. If it's part of an
Yes.
idiom, part of a phrasal verb, and then just even the verb on its own has so
Mm.
many meanings.
But so important for connection, right? If we talk about the phrase take your
Yes.
time, I mean, this can do so much in the vibe, in the interaction and how stressed people feel or don't feel in a moment around you. right?
Absolutely. What a connection skill. If you see that someone is stressed out, they know
Yes.
that they're taking your time and they're feeling anxious about it, to say, it's fine, take your time, is
Yeah.
such a great way to decrease the stress in a situation.
It's a really uncomfortable feeling, if you're someone that has a lot of empathy, which I think both you and I probably do, Aubrey,
Yes,
to see
absolutely.
someone rushing around us because they feel like they're burdening us or something, like to leave a room or something. It's really powerful to be able to just say, "Relax, take your time, there's no rush. Just take your time, gather your stuff," whatever it is, right?
Exactly. You actually
Yeah.
just did this for me, Lindsay. I don't even know if you noticed it. We were prepping for, an episode. I had to do something quickly, and you were like, "Take your time. No
Oh,
problem.
didn't
I've gotta
notice.
do this other thing anyway." It's such
Nice.
a great way to connect with colleagues, to support, really,
Yes.
instead of all of the things you could say that would make them even more stressed out
Mhm.
that you're making someone wait. Instead, you can
Yes.
use a phrase like this to support them and decrease the stress.
Yeah, and ultimately, as human beings, we don't want people to be stressed around us, right? We want people to feel relaxed so we can connect on that
Absolutely.
level. So, super important. Where else should we take this episode, Aubrey? Should
Yeah,
we go
well, let's
deeper?
dive
Mhm.
into we're gonna
Yeah,
focus on take one's time today and related phrases. There are quite a
yeah.
few ways that we say this.
Mhm.
So, first of all, let's dive into this one. It just means not hurry, like you're
Yep.
letting someone know they don't have to hurry, they don't have to be stressed out if you say, "Take your time."
Mhm. Yeah, for example, the concert doesn't start until 10, so take your time.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe someone's getting ready quickly, they're stressed out, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we have until 10. Take your time."
Yeah, exactly. What else, Aubrey? Is there another one?
Or you might say, "Oh, we're in no hurry. Take your time." Right? So
Mhm.
these are similar phrases where you can give someone sort of the gift of, if they're
Yeah.
assuming they're in a rush, they're assuming they don't have time, and you use this phrase to let them know you can take your time. But
Yeah,
we
and
often say it as a response,
yeah. What
right?
do we mean by that, Aubrey? As a response to
To
what?
something else. Yeah, let's show a
Mhm.
role play to
Yeah.
see how this looks as a response. I'll start us out.
Okay.
I'll try to get ready quickly. I know we're supposed to be there by 5.
Oh, take your time. Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm responding to you because you've said that you believe there's some kind of time constraint, right?
Exactly, right? And
Mhm.
so often this is how, we just use it to respond to someone, to let them know,
Mhm.
and we might be agreeing they need to rush, you're not
Mhm.
saying,
Mhm.
"No problem, I don't mind being late, we can be there till 7," but you're just saying, "Take your time," just to
Yeah.
make sure
Yeah.
that you shouldn't be stressed out.
Right. And this is the fun part. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
used in a sarcastic way
Yes.
to imply if you want to tease someone or you actually are impatient. And someone is being slow with something. Tell us more about that, Aubrey.
Yeah, so let's show this in our little mini role
Yeah.
play here, because yes, we
Okay.
use this a lot sarcastically to be funny, sort of tease, but also to let someone know, like, you're being slow, right?
Yeah, a little passive aggressive,
Yeah,
I would
it
say,
is a
right?
little
It's
passive
passive
aggressive.
aggressive.
All right, I'll start us out
Yeah.
with a little role play here.
Yeah.
The flight board's in 20 minutes and you're stopping for coffee?
Oh, it'll be quick.
Okay, sure, take your time.
And I got it from your tone of voice too, right?
Mhm,
Take your
mhm.
time, right? There's a little bit of a warning in that tone of voice of we could miss the flight and it could be your fault, right?
Exactly, like, you're
Yeah.
saying a lot with the tone and the words, right? I'm saying,
Mhm.
like, "I really am not okay with this, you're going to make us late." It's
Yep,
all there
yep,
in
yep,
just the tone. "Okay,
yep.
well, take your time."
Exactly. And what else do we need to know here when we're using it without sarcasm, Aubrey?
Yeah, so because this is used often sarcastically, if you
Mhm.
do mean it, if
Yes.
you really want to let them know it's fine, take your time, you need
Totally.
to provide more information so
Yes.
that you aren't accent so that no one assumes you're being sarcastic, right? The
I
context will be important. Often you can tell from context. So if
Mhm.
I wanted to let you know, "Oh, actually, we have time for you to get coffee," I
Right.
would say something else. Let's look at this role play,
Yeah.
how it could look if I'm not being sarcastic.
Okay, so you're being genuine here. Like you're actually
Yes,
not worried about the time, right?
exactly, exactly.
Okay.
So, same situation, our flight is boarding pretty soon. You get in line at Starbucks maybe,
Yep.
right? And so then I
Mhm.
would say, "Oh, you're stopping for coffee?
Oh, I'll be quick.
Okay, take your time. The security line is short, so we're fine."
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think it's really important to add and even to the extent that when we did the last role play, I felt a
Mhm.
little awkward just saying take your time, right? The first one that we
You
that we
feel like
showed?
you should say more
Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
sure they know you're not being sarcastic? Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
exactly. Yeah,
So
that's real English
here,
right there.
if
Mhm.
I just said, "Take your time," right? "You're stopping for coffee? I'll be
Mhm.
quick. Take your time." You might wonder if I'm being passive aggressive. Is she being sarcastic? Because the tone, if it's not
Yeah.
obvious, then there's
Mhm.
ambiguity. You're not sure. But the
Mhm.
more context you can provide, this where I say like, "Oh, security line's short. We're fine." Then you
Yeah.
know I'm not being sarcastic.
Yeah. Aubrey, are you someone who's very time conscious in the sense that you're always kind of aware of the time? Or are you someone who could just, I don't know, maybe show up to a party late and not realize it kind of because some people just don't have that much of an awareness in their personal lives of time. Which
Yeah,
camp
good
do you fall in?
question. I had to sort of think about this while you're asking.
Yeah.
Usually, I am very time conscious. I don't
Mhm.
wanna be late. I don't wanna make people wait on me. I feel really terrible if ever I'm
Right.
late to a meeting or miss an
Y
appointment.
Sure.
I feel badly. So I try to really be cognizant of the time, but
Yeah.
lately, more and more, if I don't have an alarm on my phone or check my calendar every few minutes,
Yeah.
without even meaning to, I'm going to miss things. There's just so much
Yeah.
going on with all my kids and
Yeah.
everything. So I've started to keep my phone with me and I'm setting alarms all day long so that I don't miss anything. 'Cause I don't want to be late.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's also a cultural element here too, right? In American culture, we're told that time, well, there's a lot we could say about this, right? That life is ruled based on time and schedules, whereas other cultures, it's ruled based on relationships a bit more.
Mm,
The time of a meeting can be flexible depending on how much of the relationship we need to build, and that could affect the next meeting, but that's okay in some places, right?
right.
Whereas it's not okay here. And there's a whole lot we could talk about with time.
That's such a good point. This is really fascinating
Hmm.
because often in the United States, relationships are built because you are respecting someone's time. And when we
Yes.
feel that from someone,
Mhm.
that creates the
Mhm.
connection like, okay, they're
Ooh,
respecting my time.
interesting. Yes,
Yeah,
very interesting. Versus in another place in the world, it might be more about not adhering to the time, right? There's not
right.
a strict schedule in which we can have this meeting. It's more flexible. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that's a
that
big
might
topic.
create a bond or it's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
they know they can count on me to not be worried if we're late." So yeah, that's very cultural.
Yes.
Interesting.
All
Well, I
right.
wanted to
Which
share a
mhm.
couple of similar phrases.
Okay.
Really quickly, we also say "no rush," same thing,
Mhm.
right? "No rush, we
Mm.
got plenty of time," same meaning.
Yes. Yeah, love that one. So for example, I know you said you'd submit the draft by today, but no rush.
Yeah. So if
Okay.
ever there isn't a hard deadline, if at work or in everyday life, it's
Mhm.
always, this is such a great way to alleviate stress for people. We all have so
Yeah.
much going on. Anytime you can let someone know that you don't need it urgently, there's no
Yeah.
rush, take your time, let them know. It's
Oh,
amazing.
totally. And that helps people to understand what's really important and what's
Right.
more flexible. Even though
Yes.
we have timelines and deadlines for everything, it's never that everything has to be done on that date that we say it does, right? Some things are more
Right.
flexible than others. And then sometimes there are things that really do need to be done on that date because someone else is waiting for it or something.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So if we're prioritizing everything at the same level, we don't
Yeah,
know what needs to, so this is
right.
always really valuable. If you can let someone know, no rush, take your time, do,
Yeah.
right? Another one is no hurry. If you say
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I got to the restaurant, there's an hour wait, so no hurry." Maybe you
Mhm.
text this to someone. You
Yeah,
don't know, they might be rushing, they
right.
might be worried, or they're in traffic. If you can
Yeah.
let someone know this, it's just like a gift you're giving them to no longer be
Yes.
stressed about the time.
To sit back and relax and exhale for a second,
Right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, or
Love it.
just no hurry, take your time.
Totally. Okay, Aubrey, we are back. And is there one other little phrase that our listeners should know today
Yeah,
in
this is sort
today's
of a bonus phrase we're going to
Mhm.
add that when you're saying take your time, take one's time, often we'll add the word sweet. It's sort of an
Mm.
expression to take one's sweet time, means
Mhm.
to do something slowly or leisurely without rushing or feeling pressured. We also sometimes use this sarcastically, so you have to be
Mhm.
careful, right? Oh, take your sweet time.
Yeah,
Means like,
yeah.
why are you being so slow?
Loaded meaning there, right? Loaded meaning for sure. Here's an example. They're always late, so I'm gonna take my sweet time getting ready.
Yeah, it's
Right.
interesting how adding sweet adds a little more. There's something there of like you're either
Sassy.
annoyed or like you're intentionally being slow for some reason.
Yeah, it's a little sassy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is sassy.
Mhm.
I'm going to take my sweet time.
Any other sample sentence, Aubrey?
Yeah, you might say, my dog is never in a rush when I take him outside to do his business. He always takes his sweet time. This is my
Yeah,
neighbor. She's always like,
it's true.
she's out there at least an hour while he's
An
just smelling all the
hour?
flowers. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's yeah, they can take advantage. They know what they're getting. They know
Yeah.
that
It's
you
like, you
have to
better take me
wait.
for a walk because we're going to be
Yeah.
outside a while.
Mhm. They wanna sniff everything first. Yeah, it's so true. Should we go into a role play, Aubrey?
Yeah, let's do it. You and I are siblings on a
Okay.
family vacation at the Grand Canyon in this role play.
Oh boy. All right,
Kind of
here
fun.
we go.
I'll start us.
Yes.
Lindsay, we're all waiting on you. Get a move on.
Relax. Look at this view. I'm taking my sweet time. I want to enjoy every moment, and mom said we're in no rush.
You know what? You're right. Who knows when we'll be here again? Let's take our time.
And that's always a good reminder when you're with family or friends and you just snap into the present and you think, hey, let's be present here, right?
Absolutely. Yes, I find
Yes.
myself doing this where I'm like, I'll have an itinerary and
Yeah.
we need to get to the next thing. So I'm not enjoying the
Mhm.
moment. You're like, Look at this view. Take time to be present."
Yeah, that's what concerns me about heavily scheduled trips where everything is planned out. It would,
Yes.
so I like to strike a balance. But then if you only have a week for a trip, in my 20s, when I traveled South America with a backpack, I had no agenda. I was just, okay, let's check in at the hostel. Let's go do this. Let's sit in a cafe for 3 hours. But it's not as easy now.
I know right now you're more aware of what you're missing if you're taking your
Yes.
sweet time at one place because you
Yes.
only have so much time to pack everything in.
It's true. All right, let's review the role play. So, first I said, relax, look at this view. I'm taking my sweet time. I want to enjoy every moment. And mom said, we're in no rush. Okay.
Yeah. So if I
Mm-hmm.
said to you, like, take your sweet time, Lindsay, that's for sure being sarcastic, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
really
Mm-hmm.
saying, can you please be faster? But when we say
Yes.
this about ourselves, like
Yeah.
you did here, we're just saying, like, I'm going to take time to enjoy this moment. You could
Mm-hmm.
say either, I'm taking my time or I'm taking my sweet time.
Yes, I love it. And then what did you say, Aubrey?
And then I said, "Oh, you know what? You're right. Let's take our time." I also wanted to highlight when we first started the role play and I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Get a move on." Do you
Yeah.
say this, Lindsay, to tell someone to
Get a
hurry?
move on. I do
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah. Get a move on. Get moving. Let's go.
Yeah, it's
Mobilize.
kind of a fun expression, right? Like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we're in a hurry. Get a move on."
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
4
No, it's
words,
fun.
guys, separate. Get a move on. Kind of a
Get a
weird
move on.
chunk.
It's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
good one. And then at the end, yeah, again, you said, let's take our time. Yes. Love
Yeah.
that. I think I love it when I meet someone who embodies this fully,
Mm.
people who just live a little bit of a slower life or a more mindful life. I feel like just being around them, I can learn a lot.
Yeah, my grandma was really this way. Her name was Lova. She passed away, but she really took time to enjoy the little things, the little moments, and she would name them, right? She would be
Oh,
like, "Look at this beautiful flower," or "Look at this
oh,
adorable baby." And she would sort of
that's
bring you
so
into the
great.
moment with her. She was really amazing about that. Or she'd be
That's
like,
beautiful.
"Sit down with me and enjoy this cookie." She's like, "This is delicious,"
That
right? Instead
is
of letting things pass her by,
that's so smart. That's mindfulness 101. She was a
right?
Buddhist, I can tell.
She was a Buddhist at heart, for sure.
I love it. That's beautiful. That is something to learn. I mean, I feel like that's my takeaway for today. Now our listeners have this phrase, but what's really important is not the words or the grammar, it's how we make people feel when we say that to them. Right, Aubrey?
Absolutely, and if you have that opportunity to let someone know that they do have time or you don't mind waiting, if you can use one of these phrases, no rush, take your
Yes.
time, that really is valuable. It could really lower someone's stress about a situation, which is huge.
Yeah, and it could change the way you see the world. I mean, you could rush past a rose bush or you could actually look at it, right? And really see, smell it and fully take it in.
Yeah, we say
Um,
take time to smell the roses, right? And it's
yeah.
so true. If you're on a walk, take time to enjoy the beauty of the earth. Don't just like rush because you're thinking about the next thing you have to do.
Exactly. And take time to leave us a review.
Yes, take
Leave
the
a review
time.
for All Ears English. Again, we want to see what you guys think of the show. So let us know and I will share them with our team. All right. Good stuff,
Amazing.
Aubrey. You have a good day. I'll talk to you soon.
You too. See you next time.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.